Hi everyone. So today in this video we are going to learn about one more character of the matter, that is nothing but particles of matter attract each other. So to understand this character they have gave some activity here. Let us go for the activity. So here the activity is nothing but play this game in the field, make 4 groups and form human chains of as suggested. So you are going to make 4 groups here. Not only in field, in ground also you can play, or by sitting also you can play. Okay. The first group should hold each other from the back and lock arms like bihu dancers. So if you see the image here, how these dancers are going to hold their hands by keeping their arms around the back of their each other, right? So in this manner you are going to, one group is going to hold the hands and the second group is going to hold the hands to form a human child, just like holding the hands together. Okay, just holding the hands together, you are going to make a chain, and the third group is going to make a chain by touching each other with only their fingers. By with only the fingers they are going to make a chain. Okay, so these are the groups. Now the fourth group of the students should run around the and try to break the 3 human chains one by one into as many small groups as possible. So if you try to break, the remaining group is going to break these chains. So if it it is absolutely, we can say that the group with the attaching finger, that is going to break easily, right? After that, hands. Okay, if we put little more effort on this, we are going to break the hands. And finally the arm chain. Okay, here the arm chain takes little much time to break the chain. Okay, so which group is easiest to break? Why? Because the third group, that is nothing but the fingers, who had touched the fingers, the chain with fingers, that chain is going to break easily. After that, hands, and later the arms, because they are going to hold it tightly, right? So that's the reason, and energy is required more to break the chain. If we consider each student as a particle of matter, so if we consider that each student in the chain as a matter, then in which group the particles held each other with maximum force? Arm chain, right? Arm chain, the chain or the group who is holding or making a arm chain, that chain or that group is going to have maximum force to break the chain. Okay, so let us go for activity 1.7. Take an iron nail, piece of chalk and rubber band. Here what you are going to do, you are going to break these 3 things. Okay, by hammering, by cutting or stretching, whatever you are going to do. Hammering is nothing but by taking a hammer and you are going to beat it. Okay, and by cutting or stretching. So by the words only you can say hammering means we are going to use here iron nail. We are going to break the iron nail by hammering, and cutting is nothing but by, for chalk piece we are going to cut it, and stretching the rubber band. In which of the following 3 substances do you think the particles are held together with greater force? Iron nail, right? So iron nail requires more energy or to break down. So the particles are very tight in which thing? Iron nail. Okay. Activity 1.8 here. Open a water tap. Try breaking the stream of water with your fingers. Were you able to cut the stream of water? So when you flow out the water, or when you open the water tap, if you keep your 4 fingers or if you keep your hand to break the stream of water, the water is going to break? No, right? The water is going to flow continuously. Why? Because the reason behind the stream of water remaining together. because the particles are held tightly here. Okay, so we cannot break the flow of water easily. The above three activities suggest that particles of matter have force acting between them. So, as I said, matter is made up of particles arranged, right? So between these particles you are having some force between them, and every little thing, that means everything is having its own matter or own particles. Okay, this force keeps the particles together. The strength of this force of attraction varies from one kind of matter to another kind, that means one kind of thing to the another thing. So these questions, try to answer yourself. If you have any doubts regarding these questions, you can comment me and I'm going to answer those questions. So next, states of matter. So till now we have learned the characters, right? What is the first character? There is a space between the particles, right? Second one is there is a continuous movement between the particles, right? Another thing is there is some force between the particles, right? So these are the characters of the matter. Now we are going to see types of matter or states of matter. So by seeing a few examples only, we can say that few particles are loose and few particles are tight. Depending upon that thing, we are having states of matter. Observe different types of matter around you. So that is nothing but different types of things around you. What are its different states? We can see matter around us exists in three different forms, right? Solid, liquid and gas. So we are going to see three types of matter: solid, liquid and gas. These states of matter arise due to the variation in the characters of the particles of the matter. Why we are going to call? So we are having little knowledge about solid, liquid and gases, right? So in solid, the particles are tightly arranged. In liquid, the particles are somewhat loose. And in gas, completely loosely they are arranged, okay? So depending upon that thing, we are having three states of matter, okay? Now let us study about these properties, these three states of matter in detail. You are going to learn about one by one these, how the particles are arranged, okay? So first we are having the solid state. So to understand this, we are having one more activity here. Collect the following particles: a pen, a book, a needle and a piece of thread. You are going to take these things and sketch the shape of the above particles. Let us say draw these particles shape in your notebook by moving a pencil around them. Do all these have definite shape, distinct boundaries and a fixed volume? Yes. These are having a particular shape, right? A pen is having particular shape, book is having particular shape, needle is having particular shape and thread is also having a particular shape. And they are having distinct boundaries and a fixed volume. Okay, that is nothing but they are having some fixed weight, we can say. What happens if they are hammered, pulled or dropped? What happens? They are going to break it, right? Are these capable of diffusing into each other? If I take a book and a pen, and if I try to keep upon each other, are they going to diffuse it? Are they going to mix it? No, they are not going to mix. They are going to stay as it is, right? So try compressing them by applying force. So you are going to hold tightly. Are you able to compress them? If you are going to hold a book and if you are going to compress, are they going to change their shape? If I take a pen and if I press it tightly, is the pen is going to change its shape? No, right? So all the above examples of solids, we can observe that all these have a definite shape, distinct boundaries and a fixed volume that is having a negligible compressibility. Negligible compressibility means they are having it. I can bend the refill of the pen, right? But I cannot bend the pen here, outer covering of the pen, right? So they are having some negligible, that is nothing but uncountable compressibility. Solids have tendency to maintain their shape when subjected to outside force. So they are going to, if I hold a pen tightly, the pen is not going to become thin, or it is not going to elongate, or whatever it is. It is going to be in the same shape. Solids may break under force, but it is difficult to change their shape, so they are rigid. So solids are so hard that if we put some large amount of force on it, it is going to break, but it is difficult to change their shape, so they are rigid. Can I, that means what, if I bend or if I make the straight pencil or pen, can I make this pencil or pen into a circular shape? No, right? So that's the reason they are saying that they are rigid. That means they are strong. Consider the following. What about a rubber band? Can it change its shape on stretching? Yes. It is going to change the shape, right? Rubber band. What about sugar and salt? When kept in different jars, these take the shape of the jar. Yes. Are they solid? They are asking. What about a sponge? It is a solid, yet we are able to compress it. Sponge is also a solid, but we are going to compress it. Why? All the above solids are, a rubber band changes shape under force and regains the same shape when the force is removed. Okay, you are going to put some force so on rubber band with your two fingers, and it is going to become elasticate. Okay, and when you leave your hands, again it comes to its original position, rubber band, right? So if excessive force is applied, it breaks. If more force is going to apply, what happens to the rubber band? It is going to break, right? The shape of each individual sugar or salt crystal remains fixed, whether we take it in our hand, put it in a plate or in a jar. But the shape of the individual sugar, only if I take a sugar crystal or a salt crystal, the crystal remains fixed. Okay, if I take in a hand or if I put it in a plate or drop it down, wherever it is going to be in the same shape. The sponge has minute holes in it. So if you see the duster or any sponge, you are going to see some holes in it in which air is trapped. In that holes, you are going to see air is trapped. When we press it out, the air is going to expelled out, comes out, and we are able to compress it. That is the reason. But all these are also the solids. We are going to call these things also as the solids only. Okay. So next state is the liquid state. Collect the following: water, cooking oil, milk, juice, cold drink. So commonly you all know this. These are the drinks, or these are the liquids. Containers of different shapes. Put a 50 ml mark on these containers using a measuring cylinder from a laboratory. So you are going to take a different shaped container, like this triangle shaped container or rectangle shaped container. Okay, and round shaped containers you are going to take from the laboratory, and you are going to mark 50 ml in each container. Okay, what will happen if these liquids are split on the floor? If I drop these liquids on the floor, what happens? They are going to spread, right? Measure 50 ml of any one liquid and transfer it into different containers one by one. So if I add 50 ml water, I'll take 50 ml and I'll add to this triangular shape container. Okay, it acquires this shape. And if I add here, it converts into rectangular shape. And here, circular shape. That means the liquids are going to take, in which we are going to add, that kind of shape they are going to take. Does the volume remain the same? 50 ml will be 50 ml only, right? The content, the 50 ml water is not going to become 40 ml in when I put it in this container, or when I put in circular container. The ml will be same, but the shape is going to be different. Does the shape of the liquid remain the same? No. The shape is not going to remain same. Okay, when you pour the liquid from one container to another, does it flow easily? Yes, it is going to flow easily. We observe that liquids have no fixed shape. They are not having any particular shape but have a fixed volume. That means what? If I have taken 50 ml water means the volume is not going to decrease. 50 ml only it will be there. Okay. They take up shape of container in which they are kept. If I put it in a glass, it is going to take in a glass shape. Okay. If I put it in a bowl, the water is going to take the shape of the bowl. Okay. Liquids flow and change shape, so they are not rigid, but we can be called fluids. So solids are rigid, but liquids are not rigid. They are fluids. Okay. Fluids are nothing but liquids only. Refer to activities 1.4, 1.5, where we saw that solids and liquid can diffuse into liquids. So here the activity 1.4, 1.5 we have seen it, right? Maybe the sugar and the salt. Here 1.5 activity. Potassium permanganate and copper sulfate, these are solid crystals we have taken, right? And when I added this to the cold water, what happened? They have diffused and they have become into. So they are saying that the same thing. If I add salt to the water, salt is in the solid form, right? That is nothing but a crystal of salt. It is nothing but solid. Okay, it is nothing but solid. If I add it to the water in a beaker, salt is added to the water, what happens? It is going to diffuse and it is going to become what? Liquid. That is nothing but salt solution. Okay, that is what they are saying. Where we saw that solids and liquids can diffuse into liquids. Okay, the gases from the atmosphere diffuse and dissolve in water, and the gases also going to mix with the water. These gases, especially oxygen and carbon dioxide, are essential for the survival of the aquatic animals and the plants. So gases are going to mix with the water, and this thing is very much useful for the aquatic animals and plants. Okay, all living creatures need to breathe, right? So for survival purpose, for living purpose, all the animals or all the creatures, they need what? Oxygen. Okay, that is nothing but they need to breathe. The aquatic animals can breathe underwater due to presence of dissolved oxygen in water. The oxygen is dissolved in the water, and this dissolved oxygen is going to taken by the aquatic animals. Okay, dissolved oxygen is nothing but mixed oxygen, the oxygen which is mixed with the water. Okay, thus we may conclude that solid, liquids and gases can diffuse into liquid. So if I add solid into the liquid, what happens? It becomes liquid only. If I add liquid into liquid, what happens? We are going to get liquid only. If I add liquid and gas, we are going to get liquid only. Okay, the rate of diffusion of the liquid is higher than that of solid. That means what? If I add if I add salt to this solution of water, what happens to the water? What happens? It dissolves. A little time is taken to dissolve the salt. Okay, but if I take water and if I add any other liquid, let me say again water. If I take another water, what happens? They are going to mix up easily without time. So that is they are saying higher than the solid. The diffusion of the liquid is higher than that of the solid. This is due to the fact that in liquid state particles move freely and have greater space between each other as compared to the particles in the solid state. That means what? In solid, the particles are tightly arranged here, and in liquid, the particles are loosely arranged. Okay, so thank you for watching the video. The gaseous state we are going to learn in the next class. So for more videos, please subscribe, like and share.